Find out what's going on. Get involved. Change things from the inside. Make a difference. Take pride. Multicultural at its best. The Luisa Marshall Show. Coming up.
Today, all news simply the best. Get involved. On the show, LGBTQ community and trans activist advocate Norma Lize fights back the anti-gay street preachers. David Lin, the Toronto founder of Christ Forgiveness Ministry, has been propagating hate targeting the LGBTQ community and spreading messages of intolerance. An entire squad from the Vancouver Police Department showed up to keep the peace to protect the preacher from the angry crowd. Vancouver Mayor Stewart condemned the preacher's presence in the city's historic gay village for several months, spreading hate. Vancouver Police Media spokesperson Constable Tanya Vicentin said in an email, "As police officers, we must not interfere with freedom of speech as outlined in the Charter." Vancouver, let's take care of what matters. All these coming up.
This preacher misgendered me in front of everyone on the street. He called me sir several times. He referred to me in the he pronoun, and he was just reminding me that God created me as a guy, as a male. And by doing this, by transitioning and changing from a male to female, I am not following the word of Jesus, and I don't deserve to go to heaven.
Hello, we are back and taking care of what matters in our city of Vancouver. So many unnecessary things happening during the pandemic, and we hope everybody is still observing the important COVID guidelines, social distancing, washing your hands, and wearing a mask. All of us together can flatten the curve. We have LGBTQ trans activist Norma Lize and former Vancouver Police Dave Dickson to discuss the anti-gay protests Monday night.
Hello, Norma. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How is the pandemic treating you nowadays?
Well, I guess by now we got used to it.
I know.
And we are doing our best. Yeah. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, no, thank you for joining us. You were present at the confrontation with the Vancouver police while they were protecting a Christian preacher who allegedly, I should say allegedly, is spreading hate against the LGBTQ community. So what did you see happened at that time?
On Monday, August 31st, Pastor David Lin posted on their Facebook page that he will be coming to the West End to baptize people on Sunset Beach. And this event was the last part of his Canada tour, across Canada tour, where he went to Surrey during the day, he went to Commercial Broadway, and then he went to the Steam Clock on Hastings, and then he wanted to end his tour by Sunset Beach. I was there around 5:30, way before the preacher was there, and I thought I was the only one there, just to be surprised by a big amount of people. They were all social distancing. They were all taking care of the social distancing, wearing masks, beautiful, colorful masks, and they were just reclaiming the space and just reminding whoever is there to hate or to spread hate and violence against the LGBTQ community in the heart of the West End. People were just there to remind them that this is our neighborhood, in a way or another. So I went there at 5:30, and then we gathered with everyone around us, and the police, the VPD came around 7, and then the preacher, 7:20 or 7:30, he was there, and everything started then. Well, he didn't say he's planning a protest. He said that he's there to baptize people, and he said that he's there
to baptize people.
Yeah, and he said that he is not against the LGBT community. He's just he wants to spread the word of God, and this This event is not the first of its kind. 2 weeks ago as well, something happened on Davie and Thurlow in the heart of the West End, where a preacher, his name is Duray Love, I guess, that incident that happened on Davie and Thurlow 2 weeks ago was not from the same preacher, but it's from the same group of preachers who are just going across the West End, and they've been doing this for the last 3 months now. Going across the West End, the first incident that I remember that was documented online was at the beginning of July of this year. Going in the West End and preaching and just using their microphone and spreading hate and false accusations and false words from the Bible and from Jesus, saying that Jesus hates the LGBT community and that we are sinners and that we are demons. And
did he say that? Did he say that exact words?
Yes. The previous preachers, they said that, the exact words. However, David Lynn, in all of his appearances in Vancouver, that day on Monday in Surrey, Commercial Broadway, the Steam Clock, and in the heart of the West End, he didn't talk about the LGBT community. He didn't name the LGBT community, but he was talking about the bullies and the demons and the devils of the West End and people who would just hate the church. And he gave us a lot of names. And one incident happened as well on Saturday, just 2 days before Pastor David Lynn came to the West End. One of the other preachers was in the heart of the West End. They were on English Bay, and they were spreading hate as well against the LGBT community. They were verbally spreading hate. And I had a discussion with them. The discussion turned out to be a heated discussion. It was not a very friendly one.
This last Saturday. This wasn't last Monday. Okay.
Yes. And this preacher misgendered me in front of everyone on the street. He called me sir several times. He referred to me in the he pronoun, and he was just reminding me that God created me as a guy, as a male, and by doing this, by transitioning and changing from a male to female, I am not following the word of Jesus, and I don't deserve to go to heaven. Yeah. Of course, all under the name of Jesus. They don't know that they were talking to a believer, because I am a Christian believer. I go to church every Sunday. I believe in God. And I know that I am a child of God. I know that I am loved. I go to a very inclusive church where people love me the way I am and they accept me the way I am. And they just spread the word of Jesus, because whatever Jesus preaches about is love and acceptance and forgiveness.
I saw the picture of many police officers surrounding and protecting the preacher. What do you say to that? I heard that the crowd was very angry and at the preacher and some of his followers. And I seen your Facebook post. You said that what happened tonight in the heart of the West End, Vancouver, reminded me of the barbaric police behavior back in the Middle East. Do you think that the Vancouver police overreacted to the situation?
Absolutely. A group of 10 people, the preacher himself and 9 other people and supporters around him, I don't think they need 50 plus police officers to protect them.
I seen that. It was an army.
Yes.
Protecting.
Yes, it was an army. Yes.
It was unbelievable.
If they are saying that they were there to protect everyone, let me correct them by saying that it's not true, because we were there. We filmed everything and we have evidence. They were not protecting us. They were protecting the preacher, and they were just helping the preacher to do whatever he wants to do by the beach, to do whatever he wants to do by the water. They facilitated, they formed a big circle around the preacher and his group, and they took them from the street all the way down to Sunset Beach, all the way to the water, because he can finalize his message and baptize people, as he was mentioning. Yes, VPD was not protecting people who were there. I don't want to say they were not protecting the LGBT community, because a lot of allies were there. a lot of people who are not from the LGBT community, they were there. They were supporting us. They were just, they gathered there to say no for hate and violence. And yes, so the VPD was not there to protect us at all. They took sides. Unfortunately, they took sides. Videos and pictures can prove that, to be honest with you, because the way that they were kicking us with their bikes, the way how they were shouting at us just to move and to stop blocking the road. They were not kicking anyone from the preacher supporters. They were not shouting at them. If anything, they were opening the circle for them to enter, and then they were closing the circle on us. A lot of people were injured by the behavior of some police officers, and I'm not generalizing, but I'm saying some police officers.
Okay.
Luckily, they were not as injured as Justin, I believe his name was, the person who was injured 2 weeks ago and who's still in the hospital. They were not severely injured, but yet. One trans activist, her name is Tanaz. She's a very famous Persian trans activist. If anyone knows Tanaz, they know that she is the light of the party. Wherever she is, she's always holding her trans flag, singing and dancing everywhere. She's such a peaceful person. And yet she was injured, and she posted pictures and videos on her Facebook account and on her YouTube channel, how the VPD kicked her with their bikes, and they forbid her from going or moving into the water just to do whatever she was doing, which is not violent at all, because she was just holding the trans flag and dancing around. And three other people mentioned as well that they were injured. One girl in her 20s, she was one of the police officers they pepper sprayed her in the eye, straight in the eye.
Pepper spray, okay.
Yes, and they have pictures as well.
Yeah, according to the media relations officer, Constable Tanya Vicentin, she actually got back to me with her email. We couldn't have her on Zoom. She said, according to her, when responding to protest, police cannot take sides. Even if police officers are personally opposed or offended by what is being said. Mm-hmm. As police officers, we must not interfere with freedom of speech, as outlined in the Charter. In order for a person to be charged with inciting hatred, certain elements of the criminal code have to be met. Those are clearly outlined and defined. Last night, those elements were not met as outlined in the criminal code. As our members were creating a safe space for a protester to get into a taxi, one counter-protester attempted to grab the bike of one of our officers. This officer used his OC spray and also sustained an injury during the encounter. Did you witness any counter-protester attempting? This is what you were saying a while ago. So attempting, the word that Constable Tanya said was attempting to grab a bike of an officer. Do you know of anyone from the LGBTQ community who got injured during the confrontation with the police? And actually, the police used pepper spray, which, according to Constable Tanya, happened.
They are confirming that they attacked one of the protesters.
I didn't ask her that, but she said that she mentioned it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to be honest with you, yes. I was there from the beginning all the way to the end. I did my best to see what was happening. I did my best to take videos and to go live on Facebook and Instagram on my personal accounts. Of course, because just myself, I couldn't see everything that was happening, but I took it on my behalf to walk from each and every police officer and beg them to protect us, not the preacher. And it was clear in my videos that I was screaming to the police officers. I was crying, I was screaming, and I was asking them to protect us because we need their protection, not the preacher. The preacher is already, he's not marginalized, although he was using the being black card. He was just saying all the time that you are racist and you are discriminating against the Black preacher. It was not us discriminating against him because he's Black. It was just because you are spreading hate.
We'll be back. Don't go away. We also have former Vancouver Police Dave Dickson on the show to give us his thoughts. Hello, Dave. How are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good despite the pandemic.
It's pretty tough.
Yes,
Very different.
It is. Very different. Yeah. We are facing many challenges, not only in our city, but all over the world during this pandemic. What can you say about the confrontation of the LGBTQ community, their supporters, with the Vancouver Police Department protecting a Christian preacher who allegedly is spreading hate against the LGBTQ community?
It's a tough one because the police are there to serve and protect, and that means sort of everybody.
Yes.
And with this particular person, I mean, even when I was still with the police, sometimes I had to do things which I wasn't really happy about doing, because I felt differently about it, but that's still my job was to protect people. And I think in this instance where I seen the videos, the guy, his beliefs are way out there. He's very different, and it's just, it's disgusting some of the stuff that he puts out there. But that's his right to say that. And when they have a confrontation like that, the confrontation I seen in the video, he's just standing there with a loudspeaker and saying his the garbage that comes out of his mouth. Yeah. But the people get very upset by it, and they're confronting him, and they're crossing the line where they're actually getting physical. I mean, one guy got his leg broken by initiating a fight, with a couple of the people. And I understand it was a bit of a pushing match. The people got charged, but I'm not sure how it's going to go in court. So it's a sort of they're both going at it, they're both pushing each other, and then all of a sudden somebody breaks a leg. So it's a tough. The police have to protect this man, regardless of how, whether they like him or dislike him.
Yes. So that was the case of Justin Morissette, the man who, turned down the volume of their speakers because they had loudspeakers. So
he crossed the line.
Yes. There were many police officers surrounding and protecting the preacher. This was the latest one. So what do you say to that? According to witnesses, police officers used their force to kick people with their bikes and push them so hard to open the way for the preacher. So a lot of people were injured. Do you think that the Vancouver police overreacted to the situation, or did you think that force? Do you really think that force is necessary?
Well, I think it was, because they're looking at the videos, and I watched it. They're putting their bikes in between the protesters or the guy with the loudspeaker and the people, because they were very upset by some of the stuff that he was saying, and I can't blame them. But you still can't cross the line and take the law into your own hands. So the police are there to protect whoever, and in this instance, unfortunately, they had to protect the preacher, because this is Canada. I mean, you've got a right to say stuff as long as it doesn't cross that line, and be hateful. His views are very, very crazy as far as I'm concerned personally, but the police still have to protect them. They're trying to keep the people away. Probably the best scenario was that they try and use their bikes, and to keep this guy moving and get him out of there.
Mm-hmm.
They can't let people cross the line and take the law into their own hands, because all of a sudden you've got a major riot. The police are going to get sued for not doing their job, or anything could happen. So I think it was pretty tame compared to what could have happened.
Yes.
It's a tough one. I mean,
it's a tough call, because if we have to. If we have to think of the bigger picture, why is he allowed anyway to do that?
That's our country. I mean, it's a great country. We've got a freedom of speech. We've got all sorts of stuff that protect you from that. So unless it crosses that line and is threatening or hateful, and he didn't, he's just got some pretty crazy views. And I've got many transgender clients downtown, and I don't know. It's just it's a tough call. The police have a duty, and then they have to protect somebody if he's in danger of harm, and he was. The stuff that he was saying was going to get him hurt. Hopefully he leaves and goes back to wherever he came from.
I think he left already, David. Even though the Vancouver police don't have to worry about anything right now.
Welcome to Vancouver.
Yeah, I think it's just a tough situation you're in. You want to protect your own people, but it seemed like the LGBTQ community and their supporters were truly upset with how it transpired.
Oh no, I don't blame them. I mean, they take a lot of stuff, and then like I say, I've always supported them and done what I can for them. You hate to see somebody like that with beliefs that strong. It's insulting, but like I say, that's not against the law, unfortunately.
Yes.
So the people were upset enough that they were crossing the line, and were willing to hit the guy, punch the guy, turn off his volume, all sorts of stuff. So the police had a duty, whether they liked it or not, had a duty to sort of protect him.
Okay.
I'm sure they weren't happy about it.
Gotcha. Well, the LGBTQ community will probably not be very happy about that, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, no, it is, unfortunately, yeah. Everybody's got a right to say what they feel.
That's right.
Sometimes it's just not nice.
I know. Oh,
yeah.
It's so heartbreaking. But,
yeah.
Oh, Dave, it's nice to hear you again.
No, nice to hear your voice, too. We have to get together.
Well, we get together and, like, truly, the way we used to do things, we're not used to this.
I'm not sick and you're not sick. Let's get together.
I know. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thanks, Luisa.
Thank you. As an advocate for the LGBTQ, you're an activist and a transgender yourself. What do you say to the Vancouver police officers?
You disappointed us on Monday, again. You were not there to protect us, unfortunately. We felt unsafe in your presence. We felt that we were treated as criminals. We felt that we were treated as a group of dangerous people to the city. And this is not who we are. Taking into consideration the history of the West End with the LGBTQ community, taking into consideration how many people were murdered in the heart of the West End throughout history, and taking into consideration that the Pride Parade happens in the heart of the West End, Vancouver, their presence with their preacher, their presence and their support to the preacher on Monday night was a trigger warning. It was extremely alarming, and they gave us another reason again not to support them. And again, they proved why we don't want them with us during the Pride Parade, unfortunately. If this video will reach Pastor David, I would just like to invite him to know the real meaning of Jesus, and to know that we are all loved. I am no different than him. God created me the same way he created him. And he gave me the name of his child the same way he gave him the name of his child.
Norma, all I know is Jesus is love. And in his eyes, everybody is equal. Everybody's the same.
Yeah.
He loves everyone.
Of course.
Well, thank you for courage. All the best to you and the LGBTQ community.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Relive the Music, a brand new one-of-a-kind show that takes the audience through music history, trivia, and memories of the 50s and 60s.
We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock till all day. Lollipop, lollipop, oh, la 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 la. I'm all shook up. Hey, hey, I'm all shook up.
Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoy the show. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Please don't drink and drive, don't text and drive, always be kind. Let's stop bullies and the coronavirus. Wash your hands, wear a mask, stay safe. See you next week. Bye-bye.